All right, so today we are going to talk about a specific and interesting topic called modular programming. So you take any language and you take a bigger project. So what you want to do first is you want to know how to break this bigger project into smaller sub modules, so that these sub modules can be reused again and again in your whole application. Okay, so modular program has been there for very long time now in all the languages like Python, PHP, Java, and for all of this, people have created different things. So, what is modular programming basically? How does it help? It helps you to maintain the code in a better way, and once you have created some code, the other people also can reuse them. And so in programming, there is a concept called namespacing. That means you want to isolate. For example, a variable created in your code should not be reused by somebody else. So you want to actually prefix it. You want to namespace it. Okay, so the modular programming also provides that additional, advantage. And if you have modules, so what happens is it provides you more simplicity. The maintainability and simplicity would be much better. So in Python, the way it is implemented, the modular programming is using functions which you already studied, okay, which can be reused, right? So similar to that, you have a concept called modules and you have a concept called packages. Okay, so what do you mean by a module in Python? So a module in Python is basically any file that you write, any file that you have written, okay, is called a module in Python. So any file with .py is called module. And a collection of modules together that you want to perform some specific operation. For example, you want to do OS related operations, you want to do JSON related operations. You put together all those files together, all those modules together, and you create a package. So in Python, a module is any Python file which contains classes or which contains functions, and a package is a group of modules. Okay, now in Python, there are already inbuilt modules that come and are very helpful for you to solve the problems. Okay, for example, there is a module called OS. Okay, there is a module called sys, there is a module called logging, there is a module called threading. Okay, so all these are inbuilt module that Python gives you so that you don't have to write the code again and again. Okay, so I'll show you a few of those. uh, for example, you do import OS. I will talk about the import statement, and you do dir of OS. Okay, so it gives you all these functionalities by default. For example, in Linux, you create a directory using a command called mkdir. Okay, so all those things are already present in this particular module, so you don't have to write exact code to create a directory. Okay, so os dot mkdir, similar to that, the functionalities are already available. And so when you type this import and you give a name like this, import and a module name. Okay, so if you give this, what Python does is it searches, in the current directory first, whether there is a file with the name that you are importing. For example, when you say import OS, what it does is going to check in the current folder first. Okay, is there a file called os.py in the current directory? If it is not there, then it goes to a list of directories. Okay, that a special environment variable that is there in the system, like Python path. Okay, so Python path is an environment variable which is basically a collection of directory names. Okay, for example, program files, some directory, and your desktop, your documents folder. If you add together and make it as an environment variable, so Python also goes and checks in all those directories whether there is a file called os.py. Still, if it is not found, okay, it goes to some specific directories where Python was installed. Okay. So wherever Python was installed, there would be a separate special folder called site packages. In that folder, it goes and searches whether there is a file or a folder called os. Okay. So if it is there, it's going to execute this import statement successfully. Otherwise, it is going to throw an error. For example, I do import os2. What happens? It says, it gives an error called module not found error. The reason being that it has not found os2 in all the three search paths. One is the current folder. Second one is a list of directories defined by an environment variable called Python path. And the third one is basically a Python installation folder. In that, there would be a folder called site packages. So in all of these three folders, it is not found. So you are getting an error called module not found error. Okay. Suppose I create a file called uh, say calculator.py. Okay. So in any other Python files, you can import it using multiple ways. Okay. The first simple way is import and the name of the module. Okay. So it will import everything that is there in the module, like all the functions which are there in the module. But sometimes what you want to do is you don't want to import all the things. Okay. So you will use another way of importing, that is from calculator import only add function. Okay. So the way you write is from calculator, from module name, and you say import, and you say what you want to import. What is there in that file? What is there in that module that you want to import? Okay. These are the two ways. Okay. The rest of the ways is you can import them as is, and you can name it something else. Like you can give it an alternative name or alias name. Okay. So these are the ways to basically import the modules. So let us do a simple module now, and let me show you how to exactly create a module. So what I have done is I have opened a folder in PyCharm now. Let me show you. PyCharm is a Python editor. Okay. So let me create a module called cals.py. Okay. There is nothing here. What I will do is I will just create a function here. Def add, okay, takes in two arguments and returns x plus 1. Similarly, I will just quickly create subtraction x comma y and says return x minus y. Okay. Similarly, I will create multiplication and I will return x star y. Similarly, I will create div and I will create return x divided by y. Okay. So these are all the four functionalities that are there in this module called cals.py. Okay. Now, what I will do is I will basically open a Python interpreter. Okay. And since I opened this interpreter in the current folder, I can directly do import cals. Okay. So now the way we understood how to show all the functionalities that are there in this particular module, I will use dir of cals. So what do you see? You see the functions that you have added here. Okay. You see the functions that you have added, add, div, multiplication, and sub. Okay. So these are the functionalities that are shown. Now you can directly, how to use these functionalities? The module name dot add 10 comma 20. So it gives you 30. Okay. So quite easy so far. We created a module in Python which contains 4 functions and I imported it. Okay. Now suppose I don't want to import, okay, all these functionalities. I want to import only add. How do I do that? The syntax is from calc I want to import only add. Now I cannot actually do cals.add because add is already there in your memory. So I can do add 10 comma 20 directly. So what does it say? So it gives you 30. Okay. So here, when you imported whole module, you need to say what you want to use, calci.add. But here you are imported only specific functionality and you can directly call it. Very simple. Okay. Now let me do something here. Okay. Now let me add some, function documentation. For example, here I will do, okay, I am just adding some documentation. Okay. So this function adds two numbers. Okay. Parameter x is an integer, parameter y is an integer. It returns an integer. Okay. Now I've made some changes to my module now. Okay. Now I cannot actually see those changes since you already imported. You want to reload that particular module. Since you're already imported, you cannot re-import like on the run. So if you want to like re-import, basically there is a separate functionality that Python gives called import lib. Okay. Just use this and say import lib dot reload. What do you want to reload? The calc. Okay. Now when you do calc and dir of calc, now there is the same thing, nothing has changed. But if I want to do help calc.add, it should give you some help documentation that I wrote. Okay, previously when I had shown this help functionality, there was some information that you are getting. Now you understood that whatever you write in the function definition, this comes as part of the help. So you return the documentation here, and here when you type help, this comes. So you need to write a better documentation so that other developers can understand how to use this. Okay. Now you are done import calc, and you understood a different way to do it from calc import add. So far so good. Okay. Now I will create one more module. Okay. I will create one more module called use calc. Now I need to create a main functionality, right? So like this is also a module. What I will do is I have shown you in Python interpreter, but now I will show you in a different script. So import. So it is there in the current folder. What I will do is print calc.add 10 comma 20. Okay. So this is how I use the module. And let me exit out of this. Let me run this Python use calc. See, now you got 30. Okay. So typically this is how you write the script. You do import statements on top and you start writing the code here. Okay. Now this is a library that you want to share to all the other people. Okay. And since you defined this, they will just import this and start using this functionality so that they don't have to write this code again and again. Okay. But here, let me do, instead of directly I can call the functional in the same library, right? But generally libraries, we should not directly call it. I will just directly tell you what happens. I just want to show you. So now it is printing 10 comma 20, the add function directly I'm calling it. So now when I run the same program again, it is printing 30 twice. Why? Because when you do import calc, this also gets run. Okay. When you do import calc, this particular statement also runs whatever you want to run, and then this statements run. So generally these libraries we should not call it. Okay. So the other concept that you need to understand here is, just a minute. So when I run python calc.c, okay, calc, so there is no output right now because I just removed that statement. Okay. Now when I said dir of calci, there were some underscores here. Did you observe these underscores? There was a double underscore name, there is a double underscore package. So double underscore name is basically a name of the module. Okay. Now there is, what is the file exactly, where it is located, what is the documentation. Okay. So all this information it gives. So let me go here and let me do import cals and let me do dir of cals again. Now let me print what is there so that you understand. So the name of the module right now is calci. And what is the file? The file is where exactly it is located. And what's the package it belongs to? Right now there is no package. We did not create any package so far. And what is a doc? There is nothing doc because we are not created any module documentation for this particular module. Okay. Now these are the special values that you see for any of the Python files once you create it. Okay. One thing to keep in mind is that when you run a file directly, okay, when you run a file directly, the name of the file, okay, the name of the file is going to be called as main. Here the name of the file is what? The name of the module itself, but it changes when I actually run it. Let me just show you. What I will do is I will print here. What is that? Name. Okay, I will print this name so that you understand. Python calci.py. See, the output of this is basically main here. Okay, but when you import a module, its name will be equal to the name of the module. But when you actually run that module, its name would convert to main. Okay. So generally what people do is, if you want to add any executable statements, okay, like print or anything, if you want to, you know, add any executable statements in your module, you generally add it in a this way that I'm going to show you now. I'm going to say, if my name is equal to, see, it was main that you got there. You see the output here? It got main here. Where is that? Main. Yeah. So that means that the user is actually running Python module name, right? So here I will do, basically I can do print add 10 comma 20. Okay, cool. I'll just remove this. Now, quite easy to understand this. Now, basically when I do python calci.py, it's going to say main and 30, but let me show you output of use cals now. Previously, when I did use cals, when I ran, it gave me 2 times 30. Now, even though I have an executable statement, it is not running twice. The reason is, these statements will only run when you actually run this module called cals.py. But when people import it, it means do not run these statements. It's a very important concept. And you see, wherever you go in Python, wherever you see these files, you will see if name is equal to main. That means if a user is trying to run it directly, run these statements. Otherwise, when people are importing, do not run this. So this is the meaning of it. Okay. Now that is called a module, and the way to import these modules, and you saw some special parameters for these modules. Now any Python file, as I said, is a module. Okay, so you can also create a package. Just I can say create a directory. I will say calculator. This is my calculator. I will push this here, and I will also push this use cals.py, or let it be there here. So I created a package now called calculator. That means just creating a folder, and I have put here a file. Okay. Now in use cals, I cannot see, there is a error that you are seeing because the package name is not there in the current directory, and now I need to tell it. Okay, correct. Now, how do I import it from? I can directly import, where is it? Calculator dot calcs. I can directly import now, and it should work fine. Okay. The reason it is showing error is because I have not added this folder to Python path. That is why it says this module is not found. Okay. So if I do echo $python path, there is nothing here. Okay. So I can do one thing. I can do workspace, Python training. So I have imported this Python path. Now Python use calcs.py. See, now I'm getting the result as 30. Okay. Now if I would have step in. So since it is there in the cache, I'm able to see the output. I'm directly writing here calculator.calcs. So I created a package called calculator, and I added this file called calcs, and now I have imported this import calculator.calcs as calci so that I can do the same things. Okay. Now this is how you create a package. Sometimes what you want to do is for all these packages, you want to do some initialization code that you want to write. For that, generally in Python, people add a special file. Okay, wherever you go, you see double underscore init double underscore dot py. That is a most common ways to actually create packages. And in all of these packages, you will see this file is automatically created. For example, I will show you some of these things. For example, site packages. Let me go to a package called MySQL and connector. See, you see everywhere this file is there, init.py, and they have done some kind of initialization code there. Okay. So to create a package, you basically create a folder, you add whatever modules that you want, and you also add a special file called double underscore init double underscore dot py. Okay. In a shortcut, people call it dunder. Okay. What is dunder? What is the meaning is double underscore, right? So just you do, you say dunder and you just remove score. So it's called dunder. Okay. Now, so this is about packages now. A little more information about packages is that there are a lot of inbuilt packages that Python gives you. And let me show you some of the examples. Okay. So there is a module called OS, which will help you to interact with operating system. There is a module called sys. Sys module will help to interact with the Python interpreter itself, the Python library itself. For example, you want to know the Python version, right? Just a minute. So version info, it will say that my Python is 3.8.1. Okay, that is my version. So similarly, you can do like sys.platform. So it is saying it's a Linux platform. Similarly, you can interact with your system. Similarly, you have import time, which will help you to work with the time module. Like you want to create a time object, you want to understand the timestamp and all that. You also have a date time module. Similarly, you have JSON module, which will help to work with a special type of data type called JSON, which is being heavily used in the REST APIs and to serialize and deserialize to dictionary. That is where you use a JSON module. Similarly, you have a logging module, which will help you to put logs in your programs. Okay. And similarly, there is an interesting module called math, all the arithmetic operations that you can think of, like math dot factorial of 5 is 120. So you can similarly use this math dot cos of cosine. of 1, cosine of 0. Okay, so all these things are available to you, like math dot square root. Okay, square root of 16, let's take 16, so it is 4.0. Okay, so math dot pi is a constant in this, 3.14, whatever. Okay, so so basically these are all the inbuilt modules. There are many more modules like threading you have, uh, and a few more. Right now, I'm not able to recall. There are a lot of built-in modules. Similarly, there are a lot of external modules that are available. Okay, so how do I know what are the external modules? There is a website called PyPI. Okay, so PyPI is a collection of Python packages which are available to you. Okay, let's go to browse projects here. So you take anything, for example, data science project, you talk about natural language processing, you want to talk about, you know, let's say, let's take one second. So let me show you, there is a package called NumPy. Okay, NumPy is a package for data science. Okay, there is a package called Django. Django is for creating web applications. Flask is also a web application. Okay, so you can see all these trending projects here, and you can also start, how I will tell you how to work with them right now. Okay, now when you install Python, right, by default this tool called pip pip gets installed, and you want to download any of these packages, right? You don't come here and download it. Okay, so pip is a tool. Okay, pip is a tool which helps you to download this particular packages. The way you use it, you say pip. Okay, you can also do search. Okay, you say pip search, and I want to work with like requests. There is one library, there is one package called requests. See, when I did search for requests, it gave me like 100 results. Now you can actually go ahead and download this. How do I download this? I will tell you. I will do pip install requests. So what does this do? It goes to internet, it downloads it, it has installed the dependent packages. So one package can depend on another package, right? So the pip will manage all your dependencies. So similarly in Ubuntu you have apt, right? A apt get install in other operating systems, and you have in Java world Maven and Gradle. Similarly you have in C Sharp also, right? So this is how you basically use it in Python. Pip is a dependency manager, pip is a package manager. Okay, so which will help you to search and install this. The syntax is pip install and whatever the name of the module or the package. Okay, so it goes and installs it. For example, pip install, and I want to install numpy. So I already downloaded it, so it is saying that it's not there. Let me find something new and let me show you how it downloads. Pip install Django. Let me do this. Oh, see, now it's getting downloaded. Now it will download this and it will install all the dependencies. Cool. So now it is downloading. Let it download. See, it is basically defined. These three are the dependencies. So it is successfully installed Django 3.0.5. So this is how you manage your packages. And if you have a lot of packages and you don't want to basically maintain, remember in your mind, so you generally in Python programs, you create a one file, okay, called requirements.txt. That means you just want to keep a track of what are the different modules this particular package depends on. For example, you can write requests. Okay, you can write numpy. Sometimes you also can specify 1.0, like you can specify the exact version name that you want, that you are dependent on. Here, if I mention, it will always pull in the latest. Now, how do I actually run this? So you will say pip install, rather than installing one, you will give a special option called -r, and you will say requirements.txt. So what does this do? It goes one by one, it installs. Since already it is there, it is not downloading it. Okay. So this is how you manage your Python packages and Python modules. And the key thing to remember is PyPy, where you can go and see a lot of already existing packages. In Python, there are lakhs of packages. Okay. So if not, so many packages out there for any of the things that you think. For example, you want to build a desktop application, you want to build a game, you want to build a data science application, you want to build a web application, you want to do some kind of testing, you want to become automation developer, and you want to build a CLI application. For all these use cases, there are already libraries out there. You just need to go and check for the right package. So how do you go and check for the right package? You basically go and see the number of stars for that package, and how does it maintained? Is it maintained well? Are there good number of contributors out there? All that you will check, and once you feel you're ready, you can actually do pip install, and it is very easy to actually work with all these packages. So any questions so far?
Functions. So one is cal and second is xyz, and both is having the same function name. So how we can alias that when we do the import?
Which one, the add and the
Yeah, let's consider we have an add in this calc.py, and I have something more which is xyz.py, and both the file is having the same function name.
Yeah, so
So
basically you can do, say for example, the syntax would be from module name, and you import add functionality, and you will say mod underscore add, like mod1 dot add. You can basically alias it, like from module name to import add as mod2 underscore add. So now you can start using mod1 add and mod2 add.
okay.
Any other questions?
Hello, Pawan, Sudeep here.
Yeah.
Can you again explain the significance of the dunder init dunder.py?
Yeah. So dunder.init.py is a file, a special file for packages when you create a packages. And generally this file is used by default in all the packages wherever you see. So this file is meant to do basically initialization for your package. For example, your package, when somebody imports it and you want to perform some operations, and you can also specify in this file. For example, cas.py has got add, sub, multiplication and division, right? But you want all the outside people of this particular package to use only add and div. Okay, so you can specify those options, so you can restrict what can be actually exported. All those things can be done in this dunder init.py, but wherever you go, it is just sitting empty. Okay, some people do not want to do any initialization, so most people keep this file as empty.
Okay, Pawan, got it. Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys, so I will share the recording in a while. Thank you.
Thank you.